Welcome to the Solo Promoter Podcast, the podcast with one guy talking about tabletop pro wrestling and fighting games, including Filsinger Games, Legends of Wrestling, Champions of the Galaxy, Go Fight POW, The Squared Circle, and more. Formerly the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast. This show is not affiliated with any gaming company. Welcome to the show. My name is Grant Bachoco. Before we get going, I want to send out a special thank you to all the members of the Golden Circle at solopromoter.com. They are the folks who make this podcast and the videos on solopromoter.com possible. If you would like to find out how to join the Golden Circle, head on over to solopromoter.com. That'll take you to our YouTube page, and there will be a join button. Now, you do have to do this on a desktop. It doesn't seem to work on mobile yet, so hopefully they get that figured out. But again, big, ginormous shout out to all the members of the Golden Circle. I had a dream the other night that I was in a Filsinger Games virtual event. Like one of the virtual, like we just had the perennial. So it was that. And in my dream, it was the auction. And I don't know what was up for bid. I think it was some sort of rare Filsinger Games card or whatever. But the bidding got really, really hot and heavy, just back and forth. And it kept going up and it kept going up. And I kept saying to myself in my dream, I gotta bail out at $300 because this is really getting expensive. And then found myself bidding more, and it went up to $400. And then it was me and another bidder, and it got up to $531. I remember that being the final amount, and that's when I tapped out. And Neil Lau was the winner of whatever that was. So congratulations, Neil. I hope you enjoy the item that you won in my crazy Filsinger Games related dream. Well, let's talk about some latest news. Now, we haven't started any teasers yet for Filsinger Games, and there's not a ton of news, but I do have two pretty significant news items that I wanted to get on here. First of all, Mike Molesky posted on the message boards and the Filsinger Games fan Discord that not only did he go through and fix a bunch of typos that were occurring or that people had found over the last few weeks or so, he also announced that the charts are fixed. So for forever, and even just on the last episode of this podcast, we have been talking about how the charts that are on COTGonline were not correct. There were some errors. Well, according to Mike, the charts now return the correct results. So that is really, really awesome, and that is long awaited, but very awesome to finally get news about COTGonline. So the other kind of aspect of this is it looks like some time is being thrown into tweaking online. And so that is always awesome and welcome news. So if you are a COTGonline person who plays that way, the charts have been fixed. So very, very cool. Next piece of news has to do with Go Fight POW. And for more on this, you're going to want to head on over to the Go Fight POW message boards or the Go Fight POW Facebook page. But the big news is that this Saturday, February 10th, 2024 at 2 p.m. Central Time is Go Fight POW Day. And this is an online event gathering for Go Fight POW fans. It starts at 2 p.m. Central Time. It is on Zoom, but you can't just show up to it. It's free, but you just have to register with Jason. You have to send him your email address and that you want to be in there, and then he will send you the Zoom link when it is time to join. And we hear that there is going to be some action and play some. This is how it's listed on the Go Fight POW webpage. If you'd like to join us and play some fights, email, and then there's Jason's email address, which is there. Well, I'm not going to say it out loud on the podcast. Prizes and fun to be had, plus some big news. Also, it's free to attend. So that is the Go Fight POW Day happening this Saturday, February 10th, 2 p.m. Central Time on Zoom. So if you are a Go Fight POW fan, make sure you head over there and join up with the fun. I don't think I can be there the entire time, but I'm definitely going to hang out. Well, since I brought this podcast back, some people have commented they would love to know what's going on in sort of my feds, what's going on in sort of my things. I will say, tacking on to Go Fight POW, I have to get Go Fight POW back on the game table, and I will be doing that very soon. It's been a while, but I'm itching to get back to Go Fight POW and get some more Go Fight POW videos for the YouTube channel. But I have been playing my regular Phil Singer game stuff, and this is going to have some spoiler alerts. So if you're not 100% caught up on my feds, spoiler alert. But the big news in Hollywood Elite Wrestling is that I've been doing this angle where Andre the Giant beat Big John Studd, and I believe he beat King Kong Bundy as well. So Bobby Heenan put a $10,000 bounty out for anyone who could beat Andre the Giant. And a lot of people have stepped up, and there have been a lot of amazing matches. I think Nikita Koloff, Mark Henry, Big Bully Busick, just a bunch of people have stepped up. But this past, I believe it was Sunday, the one-man gang was the person to finally defeat Andre the Giant. And it was a low roll. I'd have to go back and watch the video, but it was like a really low roll. But it was a great. I just love. That's part of the reason why I love this game is that you get, Andre has just been winning week after week after week after week, and then all of a sudden you have the way the dice roll is one man gang is able to beat him and collect the bounty. So one man gang will be the giant killer, I guess, now in Hollywood Elite Wrestling. The other thing I've been playing a lot, I've been playing this a lot the past week, is Champions of the Galaxy. I'm playing in my Champions of the Galaxy Fed, and it's one of my favorite things that I do every year. It's called The Reckoning, and it is a ranking gauntlet. And a ranking gauntlet, the way I do it is you rank all the wrestlers. So I have 4 different nights. I have women wrestlers, I have tag teams, I have interplanetary championship contenders, and then I have a Galaxian championship contenders. And so I do, supposedly it's over 4 nights, and you put everybody in their ranking order, and then the 2 bottom people fight each other, and the next person goes up and fights the next highest ranked person all the way up to the top, and then you get a title match at the end of the evening. Now, I will say that I do carry fatigue forward, but not all fatigue. I will, like, if somebody gets 2 fatigue in their match, they will start the next match with 1 fatigue. It'll never go below that, no matter how many matches they win forward. So even if they only have 1 in that next match and they win that next match, it never goes back to their regular pin count, because I always feel that they still have fatigue. But it's always it's a great event because people get on runs, and it's great to see how far they can go. And for the women's event, again, this is all spoiler alerts because not all of these videos have appeared on my video channel yet, although I think I've posted all the results in the various spots. But Killer Queen, the second Killer Queen, had the most wins in the women's tournament. Exo King had the most wins in the interplanetary tournament. The headliners had the most wins, MVP, but plus they went all the way to the top, and they won the titles. So I don't think that's ever been done in the tag team ranks before, where somebody from the bottom fought all the way up to the top and then won the titles. So I'm not even I'm not even really that high on the headliners team, but that was a fun one to watch. That video is coming out in a week or so, so definitely check that one out when that video is out. And then Burning Man was the MVP in the Galaxian ranking gauntlet. Now, what I did that was different from years previous is I keep cumulative rankings. So I have, my main rankings are cumulative. So, like when Kraken came back this year, yeah, I'm saying Kraken. When Kraken came back this year, I just reactivated sort of his ranking. He picked up where he left off. So he's actually ranked pretty high because he's got all these history, all this these historic wins from before. So that's what I do. But what I did that was different from this year is instead of using those cumulative rankings to figure out the rankings for the ranking gauntlet, I used this year's only wins and losses. So only 21-39. And that really mixed things up. It made some, like people who are historically top contenders, it dropped them way down. And I think it was really interesting to do. And that's why you get somebody like Burning Man, who has been on a little bit of a, no pun intended, hot streak in 21-39, getting to wrestle for the Galaxian title. It kind of mixed things up. You still had like Perfect Specimen, Shane, all those big names were up at the top. Perfect Specimen is my current Galaxian champion, so of course he's up at the top. But even if he was not champion, he would be ranked high. But then you had people like Saber going for the Galaxian title. So it really made things interesting, and I may try it again next year because it was a lot of fun. But that's kind of what's going on in my tabletop universe. That's what's happening. Well, I don't want this to go on too much longer, but I did want to talk about one other thing that I have been thinking about recently. And if you I talked about this a little bit in the Discord, which if you want to join us in the Discord, you can go to bit.ly, that's bit.ly/FGF Discord. That's where you can find all that. But recently I have been getting bogged down in the tools. And what I mean about that is I have been getting bogged down with like all these tools that we have to track wins and losses and to track cards and to, if you've seen the videos on my channel, you know that I was using Obsidian, which is this free app that you can use, and it can kind of create a little database and do all this stuff. And I was also using Carlzilla's FG Assistant and entering in results in there. And I have my Excel spreadsheet that I've had for years and years and years. And what I found was, especially around Christmas and the beginning of 2024, is I would want to play. I would want to get to the game table and play. But this thing in my head would be like, well, but you haven't updated Obsidian. You haven't updated the FG Assistant app. You haven't updated the website where you post your results. And because those things were in front of me like roadblocks, I would just wind up not playing. And so what I actually did was I just decided I'm not going to use Obsidian anymore. I'm not going to use other kind of methods or things I'm still using FG Assistant to play out games. But to record my history, I'm going back to the way I've always done it, and that is writing out the results in my results journals. You can find videos on that on the YouTube channel. But writing out my results in results journals and then simply tracking the wins and losses in the in my Excel spreadsheet. And it has kind of worked because, I played 4 cards within the span of a week. So it really did remove those roadblocks where it's like, oh, I don't have to go into Obsidian and do this. I still think Obsidian is a great tool, and I actually still use Obsidian for other things, for other projects I'm doing and stuff like that. But I think the important thing is, this is a game, or these are games, right? Champions of the Galaxy, Legends of Wrestling, and Go Fight POW. These are games. So never let something that isn't part of the game get into your way of just playing the game and enjoying it. So, for example, one of the things I'm thinking of is I want to play, but I have to record it. And somebody else is home and there's laundry going on because my game room is now right near where the laundry room is. And so that'll make too much noise. And, so I put up these roadblocks. So But you know what? It's like, forget it. You don't have to film it. Not everything has to be filmed. You can just simply play out a game, write out your results in your results journal, and then enter the statistics, if I can even speak, statistics in the Excel spreadsheet. So I think that's an important lesson I had to learn, and maybe saying that can help other folks as well. Just play. That's why we're doing this. We're doing this because we love this game. You can play out a card and not even write down the results. Just keep the results in your head. I don't know if I could possibly do that, but if everything else was, if writing in the journal, writing out the results in the journal was keeping me from playing, then I would definitely just play. I know we're all stat heads. I know we're all somebody who likes the history, but if it's getting in the way of playing, just play. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Solo Promoter Podcast. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to listen and download and all that kind of good stuff. I want to send a special thank you out to all the Golden Circle channel members who helped make this podcast possible. I want to send a thank you to everybody who gave me feedback on the return episode. It was just very nice to hear. Everybody was very excited. If there is a feature from the old podcast that you would like to see return, let me know. I will say that there is not a heavy-duty video element like there used to be with this, because that was a roadblock getting in the way of me, setting up the PDF to make all the graphics as I was doing the podcast. That was getting in the way of me just simply doing the podcast. But if there is something you'd like to see return, let me know, because I would love to do that for you. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. If you would like to check out my personal feds, you can do so at gwfpromoter.com and lowpromoter.com. If you have any comments or feedbacks, be sure to leave a comment on YouTube or send me a message on the message boards or anywhere else. Or you can email me at gwf@throwingtoasters.com. The theme song is American Guy by Throwing Toasters, used by permission and available on Apple Music, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your music. This podcast, again, is not affiliated in any way with any gaming companies or their subsidiaries. It's purely for entertainment purposes. This episode of the Solo Promoter Podcast is copyright 2024 Saturday Morning Media, Grandpa Choco, executive producer, all rights reserved. www.saturdaymorningmedia.com.